Hey everyone, how is everyone doing, huh? Sorry, I'm just trying to figure out the volume on this just to make sure that it's working. Huh? Can you hear me? One, two, three, testing. Um, I'm doing this podcast on Monday, May. What is it? 22nd, 2023. How is everyone doing, huh? I just took it easy last night. I mean, the whole day. Actually, I was talking to my cousins because I'm trying to actually buy a used car for mountains because my mom is there and she needs transportation. So I think I'm gonna send him the money and thank you for doing that for me. You know, because my mom is old, man. She's old and she hasn't you know and I mean she's not that old, but you get my point, right? I mean she can just walk down like it's like 2,000 feet, 1,500 feet, like the what do you call the elevation difference to get down to the main road and then wait for a public transportation, you know, if she needs to go to the town to get the groceries, etc., etc., right? And so, sorry, one last text message, last minute text message, and then Saturday it was just I was out with a friend, and it was just too much freaking fun, you know, too much freaking fun, and then yesterday I just like the whole night, I just stayed in, shut myself completely off, of the world, and no, no drinking or any of that bullshit, no. I had a couple of beers earlier, but then that's it. And then I was just watching some shows, some shows, and then not even that. I was just contemplating, in my own head, just being in first in the living room, and then because Sunday nights are pretty what do you call quiet in my bedroom because that goddamn factory, the Sims factory, is off. uh, But I I was talking to my wife. Obviously, she was kind of pissed. Why? I was out, late, and I told her, "Listen, I'm fine. Just that, just too much fun. I have to. I know what you guys are thinking. I mean, uh, and when the weather it's getting nicer, and but at some point in time, I had to I had to say, I'm just gonna go home. Fuck it. And that's what I did. I took the Uber, you know, and I have a lot of work. I think I have, you know what it is? I get a lot of burnout from work, and I'm pretty sure many of you do too, right? And because I have a lot of pressure, and all of a sudden I'm getting all these like freaking jobs, and I mean, yeah, that's my life. I come home and after I have my dinner, I work again. And so that burnout just becomes too much, I think, and it becomes like a bottleneck towards the weekend. And I feel like I just need to like fucking, like blow off the fucking steam. Not the steam, sir, but like, I just want to like not even look at the fucking, phone and as much as addiction we have, looking at these fucking phones, and just having them all the time in front of your fucking face and looking at them, and I'm like, and somehow we are under the control of these electronic devices. Well, uh, fortunately or unfortunately, they are a need as much as they have become like a something that we cannot live without, right? And so when you're out there with a friend or something, and then you don't want to like you just want to like enjoy, being out there and not be on the freaking phone and just like, dude, and then not worry about work and just like, have a good time, and then you think about work, when the week starts, right? Well, I mean, I was working kind of yesterday as well, but for most part, I just shut myself down. It's like just too much. And I mean, I'm okay, working late, and it is what it is, And the AEC industry in New York, architectural engineering, construction is extremely fast paced, and so people want deliverables right away. They don't have time is fucking money, construction is going on, etc., etc., right? They want permits, they want sign-offs, they want whatever the hell, right? Their certificates of occupancy, whatnot. I don't want to go dwell too much into like fucking work stuff, but um yeah, I think now I realize that that's kind of the fucking burnout I get every fucking week. And I think my wife was saying that I should actually go to a spa, I mean a massage. But I'm not, I mean, that's not how I operate. That's my problem, I'm not as like a spa. Maybe, I went to the isolation tank once, that was kind of weird, kind of, I mean, isolation, to be in the isolation tank, right? Floating on the floating liquid, right? Floating on the salty water, right? Which is kind of a sort of a psychedelic experience without taking any psychedelic, right? Because your senses are basically just um not that your senses are not working, but there's no input to the senses, right? There's no sound, there's no smell, there's no light. I mean, there's light in there, but if you turn it off, then it's complete darkness, right? So there's no sound, there's no touch feeling or anything, right? And then you're floating in that water, and that's kind of psychedelic, and that makes me made me think. It will make you think about things, and yeah, that's kind of like what do you call introspective sort of therapy kind of a thing. If you're into that, maybe I should do that. But then I think about, see the problem for me. I think that's why this fucking alcohol. I mean, these beers, for most part, because and obviously alcohol's characteristics in the pharmacology, right, is that it is supposed to actually like slow down your neurons, slow down your frontal cortex, right? Slow down your neurons so that you just don't think too much about like shit that you would typically think about, right? Otherwise, and the other not chemical, but the other things which can do the same or I think benzodiazepines, but those are, you gotta be careful. I mean, as much as I say that I'm just gonna fucking cut down on this fucking beer as well, right? But those are a whole fucking different level. If you get addicted to them, Then before you take those, listen to what's his name, Jordan Peterson, how he got hooked on those, you know, and they had to take him to like some fucking detox in fucking Russia. That was the only place where he could detox, because those those fucking pills can make you so addictive, because they calm your, like, they act the same way that alcohol does, onto your GABA receptacles, right? Receptives are, is that what it is? Not receptacles, receptor brains, right? And so if you get off those, right, and then the withdrawal syndromes and all those are just fucking horrible, right? So in any case, without getting into that discussion, the point I'm trying to make is that my problem is that my neurons are always fucking like firing all the fucking time, you know, and so that's why, for whatever thought I would have at that moment, right? Whether that's related to work, even when I'm not working, and then checking the fucking emails, and somehow I have just become that addicted, sort of like, just come home from work and then just work again. What else can you do here, especially if you are by yourself, and then and living by yourself, obviously, right? And then, I mean, and then you get a chance to like fucking, like, what do you call, unwind over the weekend. And then for me, it just becomes too much unwinding. Then I have to wind my fucking clock back into fucking Monday, right? So that's why I have to actually, like, have that balance. I think every one of us has to have that fucking balance of work and pleasure and work and fun, right? Otherwise, you go fucking nuts. You go fucking nuts. When I say fun, means like, depending on what kind of fun you want. I mean, some people will go to fucking movies, although I think that fucking the whole thing with the movies, the whole, oh, hey man, you want to go to a movie? Well, I mean, you don't say that, not so sorry, you don't say that to your male friends, but if you have your significant other, right? I mean, my wife is not here, but if you have a girlfriend, or if you're a lady and have a a boyfriend or a husband, right? Hey, honey, do you want to go see a new movie in the theater? Yeah. Well, first of all, yeah, that whole thing, going to the fucking movies, the old school way. I understand people still do that. People still go to the fucking movies, but I think pandemic has just fucking devastated that whole concept, and that's why there are no fucking movies to begin with, right? What are the new movies, huh? The new, like, for example, Guardians of the Galaxy. Although I heard that this it's not as good as like the first one or the second one, right? And then there were a couple of other like cool movies. I'm not talking about science fiction, right? I had to buy a ticket for my wife because she's gonna go to mountains. Then I fucking realized that she told me 7th or 8th, and I realized that I went to one of the websites, right, where you can buy these tickets, and then I realized that actually I booked it for 6th, which is which I'm assuming is fine for her, but she's gonna give me some shit right tomorrow. Um, in any case, so I can't wait to be in the fucking mountains, and I'm going. You know, I'm going. Well, first of all, I'm going to whatchamacall. I'm going to Florida West Palm. West Palm for a couple of days over the long weekend. This coming weekend, actually, I had to fly on Saturday. Shit, I had to make that fucking plan as well, right? Excuse me, I apologize. One more last text text message. I'm sorry, I had to do these freaking things at the same time I'm doing other things, right? Shouldn't I be just focusing on my podcast right now? Huh? I'm sorry. Again, my apologies. Uh, uh, what else is going on? Um, well, I don't know. What else is going on? Politics. I listen to radio when I'm working. Not on the fucking weekends. I don't listen to fucking radio or news on the weekends or after 6 o'clock at night. That's it. That's my like cutoff. As soon as I leave my office, which is like let's say 5:30 or 6 o'clock, right? And that's it. Uh, that's it. I don't listen to any of that fucking news, and I would just listen to some podcasts and something light, something light. Although sometimes I listen to heavy shit, like Jordan Peterson. Jordan Peterson has his podcast, right? And that's kind of heavy. And Lex Friedman, he's a computer guy. Is that what he is? But then, obviously I follow Joe Rogan religiously, his podcast, because he brings a lot of amazing guests. And then I also listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson's Star Talk, So what was the point? Okay, so I think what I want to focus on. Well, I mean, I don't want to like make my podcast focus on one thing. It's not about my podcast. It's not about like me trying to like fucking like analyze one part, right? Or one aspect of whatever science fiction or the fucking space travel or whatever the fuck it is, right? I just talk random, and that's the whole point of the podcast, right? But I think today, yeah. So what I was saying before today, maybe I should just also like self-analyze myself, like self-therapy. Well, I told you guys. So my problem, and I'm pretty sure many of you feel the same way, right? You get the burnout, work burnout, and then you are see, I can't even fucking say the words. You're constantly, for example, in my case, I'm just like fucking always like on the fucking run, and then I feel like oh, I didn't have my breakfast. Oh my God, no, I can't start without my fucking coffee and my bagel with egg whites and whatnot, right? I can't, and so I was so I'm always on the fucking run for work, and then on top of that, if I don't like I don't take few minutes, which I understand. My wife tells me, "Hey man, why don't you just take 15 minutes off and just do your lunch?" I understand where she's coming from, you know. But the problem is that this is how I have just lived my life for the past 15, at least like 10, 11 years, right? So this is how actually I have, what do you call, somehow my way of life, like my lifestyle, I have conditioned it to be like that, Oh, you are basically taking a bite on your freaking bagel. Although I try not to do that, at least for my breakfast. I try not to talk to anyone. I try not to call anyone, or I'll just check my emails to start the day, But then I don't want to call anyone, before I have my breakfast, before I have my bagel, and then I'll have sips of my coffee, right? One regular coffee, black, with milk and sugars, two sugars, right? So at least uh, I do that, and then the day fucking starts, and then am I gonna turn my podcast into my work, what I do like every fucking day at work, huh? Well, no, I shouldn't. But the point I'm trying to make is that I feel like that's the biggest burnout for me. It's the biggest burnout for me. It's just like I come home and then and then that's why and that's why I feel like what the fuck, man. I mean, you know, me and my wife got married last year, and aren't we supposed to be together? How many times am I going to say this, right? But we're trying, we're trying other things as well. I don't want to get into the details, but she misses me, I miss her, no matter how uh how many times you fight and all that, right? But I love her, you know, and she loves me too. So, and that's part of the relationship, right? So, um, yeah, loneliness is just not an easy thing, man. Especially if you are a human being, and a human being who is a social animal, right? And this is, I think, Joe Rogan talks about this, and I think there's an Indian American doctor or psychiatrist. I think I was listening to him for 15 minutes, right? Or was he on fucking Fox News or one of those, right? Or maybe on YouTube. And he was saying the same thing, that listen, man, loneliness is one of the biggest, like you know challenges for a lot of people, you know including, I'm not talking about like if you're old and got divorced and then now you are by yourself, you are in your 60s or 70s. That I can understand. I'm talking about like these young people in America, and I heard it's actually even worse in a place like fucking Japan. It's like living in a fucking like world where we are like just fucking memes, and nobody cares like what your neighbor does, or I don't even know who my fucking neighbors are, to be honest with you. That's how pathetic this is, right? Western world. Oh, we got dollars, we got fucking nice roads, and maybe not here in fucking New Jersey. It's a fucking shit show. I mean, the whole fucking, traffic and all that. Excuse me. Am I using too much of an F word? Maybe I am. You know why? And that's the other thing. See, that's the other fucking thing, is that at least for the past 3 years, right? Pandemic hits, and then I go fucking nuts, right? Because I thought that the fucking world was coming to an end. And then, I've been saying this even 2018. I went to fucking Colorado, right? That's where I used to go for my vacation. That Labor Day whole week, right? I'll be there in 2018, and then pristine, Colorado mountains, right? I went up to fucking Pikes Peak, drove up there, that fucking windy road, right? It goes up there, right? And it gives you chills in your fucking feet. Especially if you are afraid of heights, do not ever fucking do that, right? All right. So yeah, I mean, I got so deep. I came back to. I was living in fucking Brooklyn at that time, Brooklyn Heights, which is like, oh my freaking god, too many fucking people there. Oh my god, like the traffic, too many people, and then you got all these fucking like, what do you call, weird kind of like fucking neighborhood of like, you have the Brooklyn Heights. If you go the promenade, right? And it's like, oh, it's nice, and that's where the fucking movie stars do the $4 million condos, right, on the water. And then you come towards like Court Street, and then and that's where all the fucking courts are. There's the fucking borough hall is there, and blah blah blah. And then I mean, I had a nice apartment, but it was just too much. And then I was like not happy being there, and I was thinking to myself all the fucking time, and I'm like so depressed, no girlfriend or nothing. And I come from fucking Colorado, pristine beautiful mountains, and this is what I was thinking, oh, you know because I was driving from fucking, like, what was that, like, uh not Colorado Springs, no, not Colorado Springs. I think I was staying in, oh, that time I stayed at Colorado Springs, right? But then but then I was staying for most part in Boulder, right? And then I would go out, I would drive from Boulder to like fucking Denver, right? And then you'd see these like nice like housing complexes, and then I would just dream about like fucking being there, right? And just moving out there into one of those house complexes, and then start a relationship with somebody and raise a family there, and then I come back to fucking Brooklyn Heights, and then I just get so depressed. Oh my freaking god, dude. And I didn't have a girlfriend at that time. I didn't really like, I wasn't really dating anyone, depressed out of my fucking mind. And wasn't good, wasn't good. And so the point I'm trying to make, without jumping from one topic to the other, is that, yeah, loneliness can actually fucking kill you, if you believe it or not. uh, I mean, at least like if my sister wasn't here, trust me, she has supported me, and I hope I have supported her as well, in many ways. And then some of the other friends, if I didn't have any of them, dude, what the fuck I was gonna do, right? Right. Like, I don't know, dude. I would be fucking miserable, And then I have I made some friends after COVID. You know, we are kind of close, and here in Jersey City. One of the guys, he actually moved down to Houston, and but we are still in contact, and and so this whole, like, if you think about the whole culture we have in the West, right? It's extremely unhealthy. I mean, like, people who die to come to a place like America and this and that, right? They don't understand because I think what they see is like the fucking Hollywood. And then the Hollywood, I mean, dear, listen, Hollywood produces a lot of great movies, especially if you watch some of those indie movies, right? Which actually gives you the real picture of like America, right? And I'm not saying that America is a desolate place, but it can be for many people, for many of us. It can make you fucking lonely and miserable, and especially, if you're a guy, right? That's one thing, right? In Northeast, in this area, if you're a guy, if you're a woman, because everybody likes, women, and they want to be with women, and it's easier because they're easy to talk to. Well, some women are a fucking pain in the ass. I understand that part, but like, it's, yeah, it's biased. It's so fucking biased and skewed, and that's the fucking truth, I'm not saying that all you women out there have hunky-dory lives, I'm not saying that, but but compared to us men, I think you are really better off, because you can make friends, and then you can make like boyfriends, right? And then you can easily get into relationships, right? As opposed to us, And I'll give you an example, right? So, for example, if you go to fucking dating websites, right? Many people actually meet off these dating websites, right? And so, how many times a woman actually looks for a man, right, on a dating website? No, she doesn't. She doesn't have to. It's the guys who look for, right? That's the whole fucking skewed part of this whole like scene of like, especially I'm talking about like, for example, if you are single, I'm not. Listen, I'm lucky that I met my wife, okay, regardless of whatever differences we have, right? I love her, trust me. And and so, yeah, this the only problem for us is that we're not together. Hopefully we'll be together soon, right? And so my my take on this whole thing is that the whole fucking like Western society is so skewed when it comes to like, dating. For all you single people out there, I think you understand that, and I'm not saying that it's really easy for women, all right, but it's easier for women than for men, all right. Uh, I don't know about the in the mountains and where I come from. But there's no dating there. Well, maybe now it is, I think, but I mean it's not like dating, right? So so yeah, it's a skewed world, and then you realize, fuck it, like even if you go like in a social scene, right? I'm not even talking about like bars and all that, right? I'm not talking about like, you go out there and find somebody in a fucking bar, right? Or whatever. I'm talking about in like, so even social scenes, right? You go to your whatever, your uh, friends, whatever, right? Event or whatever, right? And even there, you feel like, oh shit, you know what it is? I mean, like, okay, I am an extrovert in some ways as much as I'm an introvert, all right? So I'm kind of like the fucking in between, right? If you are an introvert and if you go into these social events, right? Social scenes, and then you realize that, oh my fucking god, all these people are like douche. Well, I mean, that's not how you start when you go into these events, right? But you realize that, oh my god, this I mean, it seems like nobody actually understands me, or do I have to be loud mouth to like get people's attention, or do I have to act this way, act that way to get, you know and I'm and then you realize that, oh my god, what the hell am I doing? What the hell am I doing here? And then at that point you're like, shit, you know what, I'm actually better off being by myself. I'm better off being by myself, and it's okay even if I don't have somebody. But then, if you are young, no. If you are a young dude or a dudette, right? A dude or a male or a female, if you're young in your 30s, right? Let's say early 30s, right? Late 20s. No, no, you are wasting your fucking time. Don't be like that. Don't be like that. You have to go out there, and then you have to experience life in the most natural way. And the most natural way, unfortunately, in a place like New York, is you go out and you try dating, you try this, you try that, just make sure you don't make any fucking stupid mistakes. Yeah, that's it. And then, yeah, and then you have to go through that fucking agony of dating, dude. In New York is like, oh my fucking god, off the chart. All right, New York is the fucking crucible for dating. It's a crucible. All right. So, okay, so why did I go from my own self-therapy to this fucking dating advice for all of you out there? Especially, my listeners in New York are what, like 3 people, 4 people? All right, so what I'm saying is that this whole like life cycle, right? Life cycle doesn't fucking matter where you come from, right? Doesn't fucking matter what country you come from, or even if you're born here in New York, right? Or you come from fucking, California or Midwest or wherever, Florida, right? And it's the same. You go through the same fucking life cycle in your life. And then at some point in time, you have to say to yourself, what the fuck am I doing here? Am I happy? What is it that I need to do to make myself happy? Right? And then you're like, oh, fuck this. You know what? Maybe I should just fucking move somewhere else, at least like for a few months. And then so I'm not fucking miserable, you know? And that's the other thing. I'm not fucking miserable during those fucking cold winter months. It's so unbelievable that winter here is so fucking long. See, that's the other thing about New York is like, oh my god. So if any one of you out there young, right? And if you want to try out dating, you want to like, okay, so this is like the boot camp. It's like a military boot camp for dating. New York, that's what it is. All right? Once you pass this fucking degree here in New York, all right? This is like your fucking PhD of dating, all right? 6 years of agony. I'm not saying that you're gonna agonize yourself for 6 years. Well, maybe I did, because I was like, fuck this, I don't give a fuck, I don't have a girlfriend. I mean, and then I don't have my citizenship. So why am I even looking for something like serious, Because then if I date somebody, then they would ask me these questions, and I'll be like, oh, I don't, I have my green card, I don't have my fucking citizenship. And then the whole fucking, oh, what happened? Did you go to fucking jail? Or what happened? No, I didn't go to jail, but I did make some mistakes, all right? So there you go. So maybe that's why I didn't pursue anything serious at that point, But the point, that point, or this point, right? Doesn't matter. Doesn't fucking matter. Again, what you are, where you come from, this is your fucking crucible of dating. And if you can be a little more successful here and you go through this, right? And then you move to some like nicer place, right? Let's say you move to fucking whatever, like South Texas, whatever it is, right? I'm in Florida. And I think dating there is actually easier. Women there are a little more nicer. Alright? No, I'm not trying to be a sexist or anything, but yeah, that's what these women in New York are. They are. I mean, okay. So I understand. Okay, am I gonna sound like fucking Bill Burr, and then I'm gonna be booted off fucking YouTube? No. What I'm saying is that that's the truth. Yeah, especially and I don't blame women, and I shouldn't blame them, because it is what it is. It is what it is, because it's their game. It's not guys' games. Game, not games. All right. Well, guys can play other games, right? They can play fucking football and all that, right? But dating game is woman's game. It's a woman's game, through and through. All right. Yeah, that's it. And so don't be like fucking, don't be like fucking, prone to that fucking notion of, getting depressed when you don't have a girlfriend, or and to an extent, to ladies, oh, we don't have a boyfriend. Well, okay, don't get, especially the young ones out there, don't go out there, try whatever you have to try, All right, doesn't matter whether you meet somebody in the fucking family setting or whatever, right? I'm not talking about bars, no, fuck the bars. Uh, friends, whatever setting, through friends, through somebody, yeah, that's how it works. Especially when you're getting older, that's how it works. Am I stating the fucking obvious? Maybe I'm stating the fucking obvious. But getting back to my original point is that, yeah, for me, that was the fucking case. That was the fucking case. And at some point in time, I had basically just given up, to be honest with you. At some point in time, I had, after like 2016, 17, right? I wasn't even fucking going out anywhere. I was just coming home from work. And yeah, I was missing that the whole thing, that I needed somebody in my life. But then, I wasn't putting the effort. Well, I had put all the effort that I thought I had, you know. And then, I'm like, fuck this, I'm just like, I don't give a fuck. So that was my attitude. But in any case, so without turning this into some sort of a fucking rant about dating scene in New York, because I don't give a fuck about dating scene anymore, because I'm married, all right? But I'm telling you, people out there, if you are going to go through this, and you new generations, whatever the fucking generation you are, what are you? Generation Z33? What the fuck it is, right? Generation Z, generation millennials, and with your whatever attitudes, right? And then you're gonna realize that, well, no matter what the fuck your technology and your this and that, the dating scene still remains the same. All right, your interaction with other humans is still the same, and you need other fucking humans to survive. You cannot survive by your own unless and until you realize, this is what I gotta do. That's what I gotta do if I want to live my life by myself. And then you have to be like really strong, You gotta be really strong to do that, and that's not easy. That's not fucking easy. Trust me. I'm not that strong. I'm not saying that I married because I was lonely and all that. I decided to get married because I think my wife and I, we fought even before marriage, we whatever, right? And I like her. She liked me. And we are from the same town, right? Why not? So for me, this was the burnout, and it's still the burnout from work, and and I'm thinking, like, even now I'm thinking about the fucking, like, the day tomorrow that I had to get up at like 8:30 and blah blah blah. Oh, sir, is that that's not even 6 o'clock. I understand you construction people up there. You're gonna say, oh, we get up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. Well, you guys get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, but then you leave work at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, right? That's it. So, and I work fucking until 11 o'clock. I'm not saying that I work hard and people out there don't. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that regardless of what profession, unless you are like fucking, a billionaire like fucking, what's his name, Warren Buffett, right, or whatever. But even those guys, I think they get the burnout. I mean, you don't think that fucking Elon Musk gets the burnout? Because he's basically married to his work. He's married to like he has three wives. Tesla, SpaceX, and what's the other one? Solar company. Tesla, SpaceX, and what's the other fucking company he's running? Oh, Twitter. Twitter was his new wife, huh? Did he divorce her yet? There you go. So I was married to my work, and I'm still am. except that I have an amazing wife in my life, besides my work. So what is it that you would do, you know? Um, I'm saying that, my fucking neurons are just always like, constantly firing, and, I won't be able to fucking, get off my fucking computer, get off my fucking, phone, and, worry about this and worry about that deadline and this deadline, and that just becomes a fucking burnout. But, and I'm not a fucking robot. I'm still a human being. I need rest. You know, I need company, you know. And so I'm pretty sure you all feel the same. And then, basic things like I need food, I need sex. Hey, hey, didn't I say that last time? You people who are going to follow like Eastern philosophy. I don't know. How do these people do that? Like, for example, all right, these Dalai Lamas and all these people are even like these Catholic priests, right? How are they actually like? Did they actually cut off their dicks? Is that what it is? I have no fucking idea. I don't think so. Biology is the most powerful force on this fucking planet. All right? That's how we have been born. Biology and our machines, our bodies are the alien machines. For fuck's sake. All right? Can you produce this body in a fucking factory? No. 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 See? So behind this body is the biology, right? And one of the basics of biology is sex, right? So, yeah, and then you deprive yourself of like basic something basic like like intimacy, and and I'm talking about the Western world, and I can't even blame people in other countries. The other countries where there's no dating scene, there's no real like where for young people to meet, they just have to get married, you know, whatever it is, and that's what it is. But on top of that, so there are three things I think I discussed, right? One is that the burnout from work, and especially these days, everything is so fucking expensive, and you have to basically earn money, right? Obviously, and then and then that burnout, especially if you are just working and you are by yourself, and then you are just like living alone, living alone at your own, and you don't have any like support, and you don't feel like you should actually seek support from other people, because other people, you feel like they are just not the ones you want to talk to, right? So all these things can contribute to like real burnout. The real burnout is like, you get to a point, right? Right. I mean, sometimes I do, I mean, I understand now I'm with my wife. She's with me all the time. She supports me in many ways, right? She's with me on the phone all the time. But she's not here, And am I sounding like a really weak person? Well, I'm not sounding like a weak person, sir. But I'm just saying this is the reality in the fucking Western world, all right? And 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 so the burnout, you don't have a lot of friends, that's the other thing. And then the third thing is or maybe you have friends, but maybe you don't want to like hang out with them, uh share your life, I mean share your at least like few things that you want to get out of your fucking chest, right? And when you don't have that kind of support, social support, yeah, that becomes a fucking mental illness, all right? And that will really burn you out. So I think uh, this whole idea, and unless you are someone who's so mentally strong, right? Who's so mentally strong that they don't care. I'm not saying they don't care, but that they have somehow this under control. The whole thing about, hey, you know what? Nobody calls me. Like nobody calls me to say, hey man, how are you doing? Are you all right? Everything's okay. Blah blah blah. Do you want to hang out sometimes? Uh, uh, but then and then you realize nobody does that. Nobody calls you. Nobody except for like your close relatives, right? And then you realize, oh fuck. So if these people don't want to like hang out with me, they don't want to. They don't even bother, like calling me or texting me or anything, right? So then why the fuck do I bother, right? Am I just trying to like get there? Like, I'm not doing that, but I'm saying, like, am I acting like I'm looking for love, right? I'm looking for love and some like attention from some people when they are not even interested in even talking to me or even like being out there, right, with me, right? And and then that actually makes you build a whole castle around your own fucking self, right? And I'm like, fuck these people, I don't need them. Uh, I don't need them either. Uh, and why should I even bother to even like text them or even like find out, really, like nobody has asked me, nobody has texted me, you know. And obviously, my wife, the poor lady, she's there, we're waiting for this whole fucking, visa thing. And so that just becomes, it just, yeah, I'm telling you, this whole fucking setup we have in the Western civilization, this whole, like, kind of a lunatic, I should call it the lunatic life, way of life. I think that's what it is that the society has like created this whole like fucking, what do you call, lifestyle for people to just live their own lives. Nobody cares. Huh? Nobody fucking cares who they are. And then at some point in time, they realize, oh, if nobody cares, then why should they fucking care anyways, right? And so, yeah, that's the reality that we don't face. You know why? We don't face because we try to like shy away from these topics, especially in Western world, because with the social media and everything. Because right now, at this day and age, like what Facebook, I hope Facebook dies. Facebook, I hope dies. I mean, because Facebook is just fucking disaster. You know, I mean, I don't use it. I don't give a fuck about Facebook except I post my podcast, right? And then and then people who are on Facebook or who are on Instagram, and they're posting pictures. Oh, I'm in this fucking restaurant tonight. I'm in this fucking mountain hiking, I'm with my beautiful wife. I'm with my family. I'm with friends. We are doing this. We are going. What else? That whole fucking thing, right? That makes you think like, oh my God, these people are, they're so lucky that they had, they're doing all these things. While I'm fucking miserable in my fucking life, just working my ass off, working my ass off, working my fucking ass off, right? No fun, no human contact, no fucking other human contact except for people from work, right? You call them, they call you. Hey man, I need this, I need that, blah blah blah, right? So yeah, it's a fucking lonely world, and I think this is one of the things that contribute to like population decline in the West, right? And Japan is the fucking worst, I heard. I think even Germany, Japan, all these countries, right? It's a fucking world of lonely people. A lot of fucking lonely people who don't want to have any kids. Even young ones don't want to have any sex. Don't want to deal with other people. How about that? They don't want to deal with other people. No matter how much of a loving relationship, how much of whatever fuck, right? So that's see, this is what the Western world has become. You know, it's sad. If you think about it, it's a fucking sad story of the Western world. And people, people. I was thinking. This is what I was thinking about, right? People who are fortunate enough, fortunate enough. When I say that, fortunate enough means like fortunate enough to at least, uh, you know, uh, well, first of all, obviously, you have to have a job that you like. Oh, that's the other whole fucking discussion. I don't want to get into that. Maybe next time I will get into that. You're working a job that you fucking hate. That's the worst thing. All right. So what I'm getting at for now is, you are actually in a situation, for example, where you're fortunate enough to have a job, and you're not in a fucking ditch, and you are living in a nice place and blah blah blah, right? And then you are fortunate enough to just like take some time off and enjoy your life, right? And then at that point, think about other people who are not that fortunate. I'm not talking about like you start a fucking, which we call a non-profit for like homeless people. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like, think about your own friends. Where they are. You know who you think are genuine. That's very important. People who are genuine, right? Genuine, and the genuineness has to come from some acts, right? Some acts of that people may have, right? Some acts, and those are, for example, you know, acts of like, I'm not talking about acts of kindness because I don't believe in that. I mean, yeah, I mean, if somebody needs something from me, they ask me, then yes. If I can, then I'll tell them, hey man, yeah. If I can't, then I'll tell them, right? Either way. But the point I'm trying to make is that, for example, if I'm going out and especially in this fucking Western world, which makes you the fucking loneliest person on this fucking planet. And that makes you the loneliest person in this whole fucking universe. And that makes you the loneliest person in this life. How about that, huh? Then you think about those people, oh my God, man, this guy is, or whatever, this lady, she's alone, and yeah, she has a nice job, he has a nice job, and this and that, but he doesn't have any, whatever, right? He doesn't have a lot of people that to hang out with. Maybe I should ask him, hey man, what are you up to? Maybe I'm just saying, people don't do that because it's a fucking selfish world, So I feel that way too sometimes because, yeah, well, for me, it's just work, and that just makes me fucking selfish that, this is what I have to do. I don't have any fucking time, except then I'll blow my steam off towards the weekend, right? And then because I will be burnt out of my fucking ass of mind of ass, right? Of work, and then I would say I need to just fucking like chill out, just like shut myself out of the whole fucking work scene and the whole phones and this and that, and so yeah, this is a real thing, the burnout, the loneliness, and I mean, work burnout, loneliness, and then again these days, the social media, and you realize that how it's like, the old saying, the grass is greener on the other side. That's what you feel like. That's what you feel like when you see other people's posts. I mean, I don't go on fucking Facebook, but I'm pretty sure many of you feel that way, that, oh my God, oh, we should have been there. Oh, I wish I could be in that fucking restaurant. Oh, I wish I could be in that fucking whatever, right? And that's where you have to say to yourself, oh, fuck. But you can't, because that's how the social media has somehow also uh, uh, become part of our lifestyle. And I try not to use any fucking social media. Twitter I'll use once in a while, and then Facebook when I post, and then YouTube for my podcast. All right, everyone, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. What the fuck am I saying? 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Am I losing my fucking mind? I'm sorry, I apologize. It's 1 hour already, and it's already 11:23 p.m. on this great Monday night. And I'll see you all next week.